To the Farlam Commission now, evidence leaders have suggested that police witness Mr. X has fabricated some of the evidence presented at the commission. Mr. X was questioned about his inconsistencies over what happened on August the 13th, 2012, when strike and Lonmin miners gathered at a railway line where they allegedly killed 2 police officers. Mr. X has been presented with a photograph in which he claims he appears, but evidence leaders George Budlender has disputed. Earlier this week, evidence leaders kicked off cross-examination, disputing some of the statements Mr. X had made in his evidence in chief. The mystery police witness told the commission that leader of trade union AMCU Joseph Mathunjwa encouraged them to kill during the strike at Lonmin in August 2012. Our reporter Nozintombi Mia is attending the hearing and now joins us for a live update. Nozintombi, a very good afternoon to you. This is now the second week that the credibility of Mr. X's testimony is questioned. What happened today at the commission, Nozintombi?
Well, good afternoon, Alicia. What happened today was a continuation, really, of what had happened earlier this week. Advocate Jeff Budlender is really drilling into Mr. X's testimony. He's noted quite a number of inconsistencies in terms of photographic images, in terms of cell phone footage, in terms of cell phone information as well, that does not seem consistent with everything that Mr. X has said so far. And this puts the commission in a very difficult position because they cannot distinguish of his testimony what is the truth and what is not a truth and what is a fabrication. So that's a big issue that they sit with. They have to try and now filter through Mr. X's testimony and try and figure out where was he lying and where was he not lying, and if he was lying, was he coached by the police to lie, or where did he get this information that he feels that he cannot give true and proper testimony.
To be my very next question, how is then the commission going to deal with these allegations of fabricated evidence, and how long will that take?
Well, it's going to be a very interesting journey to see how the commission will deal with Mr. X if it is found that the bulk of his testimony is fabrication. You will know that at the moment, evidence leaders are busy with their cross-examination of Mr. X. We are expecting further lawyers to continue with their cross-examination, but at this point, it does seem a bit dicey at best whether or not they'll be able to really get the truth of what is happening with Mr. X. Just to give you an update of what's just happened, commission proceedings have just adjourned. They will be adjourned up until the 14th of July, whereupon we're expecting former Police Minister Mr. Nathi Mthethwa to take the stand. Thereafter, we're expecting Deputy President Cyril Ramaphosa to take the stand around the 28th, the 29th of July. So it will be difficult to see at which point towards the end of July, Mr. X will come back again and take the stand. Most likely early August, he'll come back and he'll get a chance to explain exactly what happened with some of the inaccuracies that are found in his evidence.
Nozintombi, what else has emerged from Mr. X's testimony? And going forward, what can be expected from the commission?
Well, the big issue that came out from Mr. X today was that he seemed at oftentimes nervous and a bit unsure about the answers that he was giving back, leading to quite a bit of frustration from Jeff Budlender, who's the evidence leader that's cross-examining him at the moment. Both seemed pretty frustrated with each other. There seemed to be a communication gap between the two. Either Mr. X is not fully understanding the questions that are put to him, or he is trying to cover up, or he's getting caught out in his lies. So that will be very interesting to see when he gets back again on the stand, whether or not it was a genuine case of miscommunication between Mr. X and evidence leader Budlender, or he really was fabricating some of the stories that he had. What happened earlier before the lunch adjournment, Mr. X complained of headache. Now, you will remember that about 2 weeks earlier, Mr. X had complained that he was feeling unwell because he felt that some of the people at the commission were using Muti against him. Now, when he was pressed to give answers, he seemed flustered, almost in a similar way to when that happened. And he came up with the answer that he had a headache and he was not feeling well. Therefore, we broke broke for about a lunch hour's adjournment. When he came back, he answered a few questions, but then turned around and said that he had a bereavement in his family, and according to his culture and his customs, it's the norm to mourn a passing of a family member in his family. So we had to then request, the police then had to request for an adjournment so that Mr. X could then be present for that family bereavement.
Thank you so much. That was SABC reporter Nozintombi Mia live in Centurion at the Marikana Commission of Inquiry.